No way, it's just us?
No, I got more coming. I'm letting him in.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's my fault. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for the delay.
Good morning.
The beauty of living in the country is when there's one road in and out and something breaks down, you're stuck. So I am a few minutes behind, but we're present. I'm going to give a few more minutes to let everybody kind of get in and get situated, especially since I was the one that was late. And then we'll dive right in. I'm also going to figure out how to share my screen again. Morning,
Morning.
morning. Everybody see
Morning.
that okay?
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you. If you haven't been outside yet, when you go outside, put a sweater on. It's cold. 35 this morning. Somebody reminded the weather that it's almost November. It needed to cool off. Where is my participants tab? That's not what I want. Oops. Oh, sure. Oh, I dual screen this guy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
After class today, Austin, I have a text message I got from a potential client. I want to see um how would you attack the situation, but let's get through the class today.
Okay. Yeah. And I have an appointment right after class. So send it to me and I'll get back with you this afternoon when I'm freed up.
I'll send you a screenshot of it now so you can think of the idea before the whatever.
Okay. All right. Let's dive right in. As more folks come, I'll let them in. But today we're going to talk about networking. So, as always, I start the day off with a bold law. This one is intentional because we're going to talk a lot about how you can come from contribution, and the more you give, the more you can receive. Those of you that listen to the MREA podcast, there's a great one that came out this morning about making super fans. I suggest everyone go listen to it. I'm going to make a reference to it in a little bit when we start talking about um, VIP groups or super fans. And one of the things that the author, the speaker on the podcast mentioned is how many referrals have you made today? Not how many referrals have you received today, but how many referrals have you made today? And I want you to kind of keep that at the back of your mind. A lot of what Keller Williams culture is built upon is this exact phrase. It is something that we internalize, and it's a reason why so many agents, if they buy into the culture, are willing to share and give and do more for others because we're coming from contribution. Also, your network is equal to your net worth. This is a famous Gary Keller saying. Now, a lot of what he's referring to is your database. We're going to zero in on that database a little bit today. I've had some feedback conversations with some of you about whether it be being overwhelmed about command itself or just in general, I need to have XYZ number of people to reach my goals. That is a base average or a rule of thumb. What you really want to focus on first is your high top 100 people. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, scorecard, agenda. We're going to talk about, ignore that open house piece. That shouldn't be there. We're going to talk about networking, allied resources, VIP groups, a little bit about agent referrals. There's a whole nother class on that, and then a couple scripts that you guys can use. So coming from contribution, we want to build a network around business owners who you can regularly give business to. And I don't just mean your lender and your title. Skipping ahead to number 3 here a little bit, mainly because some of the vendors we regularly work with, based on their position, they just cannot give us referrals in return. Title and lender are obvious ones because, for example, Jackson is working with every agent in our office. He is going to have a difficult time both with his boss and with other agents if he starts sending Mike all of his referrals, mainly because I'm going to give him an earful because I want some of those referrals. And so we're trying to avoid some of that with our vendor partners. And we don't want to create that misnomer or that issue with them either. And so I have that understanding with them, and Jackson knows that. And so what I'm going to lean on for Jackson, and I'm just using him as an example because he's an obvious one for most of us. You can insert ACM here. You can insert Title Alliance here. Any of these type of preferred vendors that we have as an office, I lean on them for other things. They're going to help with my marketing. They're going to help me with doing an exceptional level of service for my clients that make me look good, etc. What we're talking about today is people that can regularly refer us. Now, we're going to use a script here in a little bit on how I ask for that or how I start building that conversation. So hold those questions if you have them. More importantly, though, I want you to start thinking about who else do you know that you could meet with regularly and give business to them. The act of giving over time builds a feeling of wanting to return the favor. And so, for example, if I continue to give a plumber referrals, that plumber is not only going to want to give me referrals back, he's going to speak at a higher level for me as a realtor because I'm the one that's giving him all his business. And so you create this mutual respect and this mutual dependent model like we talked about last time. And that's what we're going for. So if you notice in the email I sent out last week, there's a tool in there called a database jogger. A lot of those people in your database jogger are folks that would make a great networking group. Now, when I'm referring to networking, I'm thinking small business owners or a specific type of person that you can meet with regularly. It's not your VIP, your top referral partners, or agent referrals. That's something different that we're going to talk about in a second. So we kind of have 3 different groups we're targeting today. And it's going to be hard to focus on all 3 at the same time. So I want you to pick one, and that's going to be your goal to work on for the rest of the year. So obviously we're building our database. We're working on open houses. We're going to pick one between networking, between agent referrals, or a VIP group. Now, networking, again, could be business owners. It could also be investors. Those of you that are interested in working with investors, that's another opportunity. So you're going to build a network of investors that are looking to buy and sell real estate, whether it's from a flip standpoint or a hold standpoint or an Airbnb standpoint. You can meet up. Now, the cool thing is there's a lot of these meetings already created. This slide, if you notice at the bottom, it says 212/BNI. Those are 2 different networking groups that are, now you have to pay to join them. However, they're already created with the framework in mind, the meeting structure in mind, and they basically take one of every professional division. So you're going to have one realtor, you're going to have one lender, you're going to have one financial advisor, you're going to have one general contractor. Now, it's not tied to these roles. It's just once they fill that seat, they're not going to fill it with another one. And they're also location based. So you might have 6 different 212 groups in Chesterfield or in Midlothian, and there's going to be one that meets on Monday mornings. That's a certain group. You're going to have one that meets on Monday afternoons. That's another group, et cetera, et cetera. If you are interested in these groups, you simply just Google 212 business networking, or BNI stands for Business Networking. I believe it's incorporated. They've changed the names a couple times. But if you Google 212 or BNI, you can find those. What I like to recommend is see if any of them will let you attend a meeting and try a couple of the groups out before joining. More importantly, you may join a few and have the same realization I did, which is I'm not going to pay for this. I'm going to start my own. And instead of starting a 212 or BNI group, I'm going to start building the relationships up myself and building the group that regularly meets myself. One of my main agent referral partners, who's in Florida in Orlando, her name's Amanda Sebadan. She started her own networking group. It's called Coffee to Connections, and they meet once a month. And it has grown from, it was 4 or 5 of them about a year ago when she started the group. And now I think the last one, I can actually tell you how many she had in there. They had like 30 people there, I think it was. And she regularly gets referrals from these groups. Where is it? Taking too long to find it. There it is. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 people at the last one. Now they mix it up too. It's called Coffee to Connections, but sometimes they'll do a brewery on a weekend, or they'll do like a fall festival or something like that. But they're regularly meeting up together. They're talking a little bit about their businesses, and they're staying in front of people constantly. Now the cool thing too is with these groups, you give somebody the opportunity to speak or share about their business each time. So if I'm meeting with the regularly sized groups once a month, each person's going to share. You're going to have a little bit of extended time to share about their business. So we're going to go around the room. I'm going to say who I am, and then October might be my month. November might be Jackson's month. December might be the landscaper's month. January might be somebody else, etc. Lynn, did you raise your hand? Do you have a question? Lynn?
Hold on a second. Yes. So, I had to leave the room for a moment when you started talking about the network. So okay, let me just tell you. I was at Target the other day, right after I got my name tag, and I had it on, and I went into Target, and when I came out, there was a truck sitting there, and it said concrete. Not concrete, paving, asphalt, right? So I kind of thought, well, and there was a guy sitting in it. So I walked up to him and I introduced myself and I said, um, I'm a new realtor and did he have any business cards I could get? So if I came across somebody that needed their help, um, I could give them their card, right? Now he turned out to be a commercial, not residential. So is that kind of like what you're talking about?
Yeah, and part of that, I probably could have guessed that he was commercial just because if they're outside of like businesses or major shopping centers, et cetera, that's probably not going to be the target audience you want to go after. Like a Target, for example, is going to work with a much larger size company. So yes, that's the initial stages is you're getting to know people if you don't already have them. Another thing you can rely on is your other PC agents and your other agents in the office to ask who they work with that they like using if you need people to refer. That's not necessarily going to build your networking group if they're already working with another agent. The problem is in our industry is a lot of people just use these folks to service their clients. They're not using. We're taking it one step further, and the podcast this morning actually did a good job talking about this. Is I do not care necessarily how many people are in your database. I care how many people that you're in theirs. Meaning they're going to think of you when they think of real estate. Like I have 50 different plumbers I can think of in Richmond, but there's only 2 to 3 that I refer. And those 2 to 3 that I refer make darn sure they know that I'm the one that's referring them. So anytime I send a referral to one of those folks, I'm letting them know like, hey, let the person that let the plumber know when you call them that I sent you. I want them to know that Austin was the one that referred them. So that way, every time when I reach out to that plumber to check in on things or to catch up or have my own plumbing need, they're quick to answer and they're quick to give me service back. It definitely is a slow build process. This is intentionally behind open houses and sphere of influence. However, you have some of these already at your disposal, even if you don't think about things with the home. So, for example, think about people that you know in your regular day life that own a small business or that have a side hustle. Maybe they make jewelry or they power wash houses or they paint, etc. You can build networking groups around that. Now it can start as a one-to-one coffee. You can say, hey, I want to go get coffee with you, hear about your business and hear how I can help you. And then do that. And then when you have a good conversation, you follow up by saying, I think that went really well. Would you be open to making that a reoccurring meeting where we can get together regularly to talk about each other's businesses and how we can help? After you do 2 or 3 of those, now you can say, hey, I think it'd be powerful if we could bring in some other business owners and make this more of a group setting than a one-on-one setting. And find somebody that's going to help you co-run the meeting. It's very easy to do that. Jackson and then Philip Watkins, my insurance guy, the 3 of us have already done this. Instead of me doing all the work, I have the two of them helping me. The other cool thing is I get to double down on my database. So we're going to talk about that later in a little bit when it comes to allied resources. But actually, I'm going to skip to it. Yeah. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. So an allied resource is somebody that you can refer business to service your clients. So it's vendors you use regularly. You can partner with them on marketing items. So that's that piece I was talking about earlier, where if they can't regularly refer me business, maybe they can help cut down on some of my expenses. Or they'll attend open houses with me. They'll sponsor my newsletter. Now, the most important piece here that I like is you're growing together. You're doubling your touches. Those of you that have been at KW Metro Center Midlow for a while, and this is kind of a rhetorical question, you don't have to actually answer it, just nod in agreement. How many times have you heard a sponsor or a speaker of a team meeting, and whether it was MG before or somebody else say, or the speaker themselves say, I know Jackson, or Jackson's the one that referred me to this office. He is already a part of this business where he's saying, here's who you know, here's who I know that you should know. And that's the entire point of this. And that's what doubling your touches means.
Hey, I
So
think
if I have,
my apologies. I think
ahead.
Not Austin, Jackson invited, was it Ella Spawn, the painter?
Yeah. So he invited Ellen Spann was the stager. He invited SNS Painting. He's invited Pharaoh Harris, who's Logician Media. Those are just the top three I can think of off the top of my head. But so I came to this office in May, and I guarantee it's been 5 to 10 people that he's brought in to sponsor meetings. And the point is he's bringing them to get them in front of the agents because he knows they're going to help service us as agents. So he can't directly refer us clients necessarily. However, he can refer us vendors that we can use. And then we take advantage of that by going and meeting with those vendors and getting their referrals, or just getting to know who they know. And eventually you're going to start finding like-minded individuals. So I surround a lot of my networking is around people that I already see at jiu-jitsu. A lot of the people that train jiu-jitsu own their own business for whatever reason. And part of it is because I train at lunchtime. And so when I'm here at lunch or in the early mornings, those folks are wired much like I am. They have to train in the early morning because then they have to go to work. Or they get a lunch break and they're popping in here and then they're going back to work. We don't do evenings as much because we have kids and we have other things. So there are definitely things that we can add into this where you can make it personal based on what you're already doing. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just saw Barbara's message. Questions on allied resources. I want you to think business owners when you hear that term. All right. Excuse me. So we're going to talk about the VIP group, also known as raving fans, also known as super fans. This, in my opinion, is the most rewarding or the most important. You can also overlap the two. So there are some people that are in my VIP group that are in my in the networking group as well. So your VIP group, and it's maxed out at 100 people. It cannot be more than 100 people. When you're new, it's closer to 50 people as your max size. As your business grows, and especially if you have a team, as your team grows, then you start getting into the more 100 plus or the 100 range, not 100 plus. Now, your VIP group are A pluses in your database. Those of you that have been in my training, an A plus is going to send you multiple referral opportunities per year. Now, one of the things we're going to highlight here and we're going to talk about is it's not a closed referral. I get many referrals from my A pluses and my VIP groups. It's my job to close them. Now, some of them don't close for whatever reason. I had one recently where a guy sent me a referral, and the guy that was supposed to be moving here from Georgia to Richmond ended up taking a different job and moving to Maryland. There's nothing I can do about that. However, I reward the activity. That guy stays in my VIP, Tom is his name, because Tom has sent me several referrals this year. And so I reward the activity of Tom sending me referrals because I want him to keep sending me referrals. If they don't close, that's really none of Tom's business. Now, if they do close, he might get a little extra something. That's not necessarily the key here. The point is I want the referral opportunities. I got 3 last week. Now, they were all agent-to-agent referrals, which we're going to talk about here in a second. However, all of those agents are being rewarded for sending me the referral. It doesn't matter if the referral buys or sells. That will come later. If they buy or sell, the agent will get paid. Now, you can only pay a referral fee to a licensed agent. They can be in referral status or inactive status. However, they have to have an active real estate license in a state wherever you're sending the referral to. So keep that in mind. You cannot pay somebody for referring you business. Now, you can give gifts for referring you business, and that's a little bit different. However, you cannot pay them. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't pay them because then you're kind of asking for trouble. So when they send me referrals, one of the things I will do is a handwritten note thanking them for the referral. I will oftentimes include a small token or a small gift of appreciation. That may be the pop by of that month. That may be inviting them to a closed client event, or it may be sending them a book or something of value. It's not necessarily a gift card or a one-time expense thing. I want it to be something that constantly reminds them of me. Those of you that have been around a while have heard of Cutco knives. Cutco does a really good referral program with this. The more people you refer or the more knives you buy and sell from Cutco, they will start giving you free knives as a referral thank you gift. So if you send X amount of referrals in, you get a credit to buying more knives, or eventually you get to a free knife. It's kind of the same thing that we're talking about here. The more referrals you send me, the more gifts and the more activity I'm going to reward back in your favor. Anybody in your VIP group has to be on your 36 touch. We've talked about the 36 touch before. A lot of us are building our 36 touch and we're not quite at 36. Your VIP, your top 100 people, your raving fan, your super fans, whatever you want to call them, they get every single touch that's on there. If I'm doing client events, these are the people that are getting invited to the client event. If I'm doing pop by gifts, these are the people that are getting the pop by gifts. If I'm doing one-on-one lunches or coffees and I'm asking my super fans to go out to get coffee or lunch, these are the people I'm inviting. Now, the reason why I said 50 in the beginning is because what you should be trying to do, again, there's no try, sorry, what you should be intending to do is once a week taking a VIP out to lunch. And if you can get to once a week or coffee, if you can get to once a week as a business meeting, telling them you want to take them out and foster that relationship and also ask how you can earn more referrals from them. You do one a week, you can do 52 a year if you work every week of the year. Now, Bold told us last week we should be taking 4 weeks off, so do 48 a year. Now, you can double that by doing 2 of these a week. Imagine what your business could look like is if every single person you took out to lunch sent you 1 referral that closed per year. And that's the target group that we're going for. So if we have 1 lunch a week and we're getting 1 closed referral from them, we've done 48 transactions that year. And all we did was go to lunch once a week and then service that client for that referral. So we're starting to chunk down the activities and make it more impactful. That's the point here. It's a lot easier to focus my attention on 100 people, even if my database is 1,000. I'm targeting those A pluses. That top 100 is the one that's getting my pop-bys, my client events, my personal calls, my handwritten notes. Maybe I'm making a closed Facebook group that's Eden Properties Raving Fan Club, which we had before, and we're revamping before we launch it again. But these are folks that you're pouring into and you're giving more of your time, energy, and effort. All right, questions, thoughts on referrals from the VIP group? Cool. So we talked about allied resources. Let's dive in a little bit more.
So I apologize. It took me a while to unmute. When you say your top 100 VIP resources, is it possible if you don't have people currently referring you business in that type of way, is there a way
you don't have a VIP group?
I know, but I understand that. But is there such a thing where you can kind of jumpstart someone that could possibly be a VIP group and just constantly if they might, like, for example, in my network I have a couple of doctors. If I can jumpstart them in a way, I can turn them to a VIP. Is that possible in turning someone into a VIP, or you?
It's always possible. Yeah, it's always possible. It's going to take time, and we're going to talk about this here in a second. You have to earn the right to get their referrals. Now, doctors are tough because unless they're a specialty doctor, you're likely not sending them business. If they are a specialty doctor, for example, a surgeon or a optometrist or a foot doctor or something along that line where you're sending them, maybe even a skincare dermatologist, something like that, where you're sending them regular business, then that has an opportunity to grow into a VIP group. The problem is if they're a general practitioner, or a care partner, or something like that, you're most likely not sending them to them. Also, as realtors, a lot of times we don't have people asking us, who is your doctor? We have people asking us, who is your plumber or electrician or people related to the house. So
The
that's going to
doctor
be more
was
of the
just an
networking
example.
side.
A doctor was just an example, a personal example for mine. I'm talking more of as in is it possible, or what are the steps into jump starting someone into a VIP if possible?
There is no jump start. It takes time. You can't just incentivize somebody to send more referrals faster. Now you can do it a little bit more so on the agent referral side, which I'll talk about here in a second. However, when it comes to a VIP group, you have to build, it takes time to build the plan because you have to earn their like and trust. So we have kind of a couple different levels of people that would work with us as an agent. We have folks that will adopt us, or we will adopt them as a client, meaning they're going to hire us as their agent. We're going to buy or sell them a house. That's it. Then we have ones that have an affinity to us, meaning they like us and they know that we're an agent, and they're probably going to use us every time they buy or sell a house. However, they're not sending us referrals. It's the next step where you have to get into that deeper relationship where they're willing to send you the referrals, and it takes time to get there. You are likely not going to have a big VIP group out the gate. Most often, you have to work some deals first. And once you work a client, you take them through the process of buying or selling with you, then have the right to ask them for referrals. So it takes time to build this process up. And that's why it's, again, not highlighted as one of the first few lead gens or lead levers, excuse me. Now, you want to communicate with them often, and that can be a way that you may have the opportunity to earn referrals, but you have to be showing them value and showing why working with you is important. And the easiest way to do that is when they work with you. So once they go through working with you and they see what the experience is like, and you give them a killer experience and you follow up with them before, during, and after the process, and you get them into that home that they wanted, or you help them sell for the price that they needed, now you have a lot of value that you've already given them and shown them. You've shown your work, so to speak, that you can start getting more referrals from them. Now, I'm going to bump ahead a little bit because this is kind of to Eric's question. This is the script that I use more often than not when I'm looking to add somebody to my database, and it can also be to add them to my VIP group. So, kind of to what you're asking, Eric, you could talk to these folks one-on-one by saying, if you or someone you know is thinking of buying or selling a real estate, do you have someone you would refer them to? If they say no, you say, I'd love to chat more about how I can be that person. You're setting the expectation up that you can have an ongoing conversation. You're not saying, cool, I want it to be me, or make sure, or giving them a card and saying, refer me if you come across anybody looking to buy or sell. That's too easy for people to say no to. Yes, it's easy for them to say yes to. It's also too easy for them to say, cool, yeah, of course, and leave your card in their car and never pull it out again. Excuse me. Now, Gene Shull is one of our PC agents in Tyson's. This is what this Gene story is. What Gene has done is anytime he is going to meet with somebody, actually, he does it on care calls. So when he's calling to reach out to folks to check in, he starts his call by saying, it's Gene, just calling to check in. By the way, at some point in our conversation today, I'm going to ask you if you know anybody looking to buy or sell in real estate. However, before I even get there, how are you doing? Now, the reason why I share this is because you're setting the expectation up front and you're letting them know ahead of time, hey, this is a business call. I'm going to need your help at some point to ask you about who you know looking to buy or sell in real estate. However, I'm mainly calling because I want to check in on you first. How are you doing? That is how Gene does it. And I like it because it keeps the folks, if I just call somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, especially if they know I've gotten into real, or they know that I'm in real estate, they're going to be sitting on the other end of that phone, looking at the phone going, when's he going to ask for something? When is he going to ask for something? When is he going to ask for something? And so if I'm only calling people 4 times a year and every time I call and ask for the business, I'm not really checking in on them. However, if I get that kind of fence sitting reason or that what's to come kind of fear out of the way by saying, look, I'm calling you because I want to check in. I'm also going to ask you if you know somebody that I should know. However, before I even get there, how are you doing? How are the kids? How's school going? You're doing that Ford or that frog conversation we've talked about before up front still, and then you're getting the right or the opportunity to ask for business. It's the same thing with a VIP. If they say, no, I don't have somebody, and you say, I'd love to chat with them about how I can be that person, you're going to then ask to take them out for coffee or take them out to lunch and see how they're doing and start fostering that relationship. You may also ask that you can put them on your drip campaign that gets a monthly newsletter that shows some value in real estate. Let them know how the market's going. You can ask them to subscribe to your YouTube channel where they can hear you do talking head videos to talk about tools or tricks to succeed in the market. There's a lot of different things we can do to earn their business or earn their right to referral. We want to show them value. Now, back to the VIP group. People that are going to navigate towards your VIPs, they're going to be like-minded individuals. I mentioned this before about jujitsu and myself. However, it's more tied to your personality type. If you are a stats person or highly analytical and use a lot of numbers and statistics to verify and give logic and prove points, people that you're going to want in your VIP group are going to respect that, or they're going to want to have those statistics. They want to know at what rate the market's appreciating. They want to know the average days on market. They want to know the average showings it takes to get a contract. And those are the type of things that you can share in your newsletter to your VIP group. If they are not of that mindset or of that personality type, you don't necessarily want to bore them with statistics because they're not going to find value in it. If I just continue to tell people how much their house is worth and they're not thinking about selling, they're going to unsubscribe. It's happened to me recently because I sent out CMAs to let them know what their value is at. And some of those folks are like, I'm not moving. Don't call me anymore. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to call them anymore. I'm not going to send them a CMA. They're going to get the other stuff that I do. They're going to get the Popeyes, or they're going to get invited to the client events, or they're going to get when we have a NAR settlement and things change, they're going to get the video of me explaining it. So I'm still going to provide them value. I'm still going to give them my allied resources vendor list. So to not jump around too much, this is another thing you can do. You can make a resource, or whether it's a Google document or something physical, that has all your preferred vendors on it. Now you can A, let the vendors know that they're your preferred vendor, they're going on this list, and then B, give it to all your VIP group. So now they have a refrigerator magnet or a sheet that they can keep in their junk drawer that says, anytime I need something, I can pull out my list that Austin gave me and call one of his preferred vendors. Another script, and I don't have this in here, I actually heard it on the podcast this morning and I didn't have time to add it to the PowerPoint, is when you are working with a client, and most importantly, when you close, you want to have a conversation with that client, whether they're a buyer or a seller, where you let them know that the second they have anything related to a real estate need, they text you. Now, it's not, I'm thinking about buying or selling. It could be, my doorbell's not working. Who do I call? Or it could be, teenagers ran over my mailbox and I need to replace it. Who do I call? Or it could be, we're thinking about repainting. Who do I call? Anything related to a house, I want to be that first text that they call. In my world, most of my VIP knows me as a connector. When we did that bold exercise 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 sessions ago, and we said, comment on, or what do you think of me? It was that social media post, and we said, what do you think of me? Most of the people that commented on mine, and you can go back and look at this, most of them said connector or coach or always willing to lend a hand or always willing to give a resource, because that is one of the primary job description things that I have is I can connect you to people that can help you in your home. And the reason why is because it's an easy way for me to stay in touch with them when they're not thinking about buying or selling, because I can still let them know that, like, hey, I have people for that. And so they stay in touch with me and I stay in touch with them, and they're not calling another agent. Does that make sense? It's kind of a lot. All right, I'm going to assume yes. Cool. One more thing. Let's talk agent referrals. This is my number 2 lead pillar. I mentioned last week, I got 3 of them. It was technically 4 of them because one of them was an out referral, an outbound referral, meaning I sent the client to somebody else and they put them under contract. And then I got 3 more buyers out of agent referrals to us. So that did not happen overnight. I have been with Keller Williams since 2019. I have been working on agent referrals since 2019. Part of why I am at Keller Williams and why I stay at Keller Williams is because of agent referrals. Now in Command, and I'm going to talk about Command here in a second. In Command, there is a referrals tab on the left. If you click the referrals tab, you can click the map and you can look at any market center across the country that's a Keller Williams market center and start connecting with people by adding them to what's called your referral network in Command. Now, the beauty of that is you get their contact information and you connect with them on command. If you need to send a referral to KW agent, it's a couple clicks of a button on there. The negative to that is they are not going to receive your smart plans or your items of value. They have to be actually in your command to do that. And so we have to get their contact information. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the way that I do this. I use LinkedIn almost exclusively to, not almost exclusive. I use LinkedIn as the exclusive social network for agent referrals. I'm connecting with Keller Williams licensed agents on LinkedIn. And when I do, I send them an intro message, and it's the same intro message every single time. I copy and paste it, say, hey, it's Austin. Thanks for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I wanted to reach out because I have a team. I'm with the Keller Williams Metro Center Midlothian office. I've been in real estate since 2011. I've been with KW since 2019. I'm an ALC member. I've graduated Bowl multiple times. And more importantly, I'm the productivity coach of our market center. I bleed all things red. I would like the opportunity to add you to my database so that we can stay in touch and hopefully have opportunities for referrals both to and from. Every single time, one of two things happens. They say, yes, absolutely, that's great. Here's my contact information. Here's what I work. We have a little bit of back and forth. Or number two is they don't respond. And if they don't respond, I'm like, cool, you're still connected with me on LinkedIn, and you're going to see all the posts I do on LinkedIn. And eventually, you're either going to respond or you're not. If they respond, I then add them to my database. If they don't respond, I just leave them there, and that's fine. It's the same thing that would happen if I messaged somebody on Facebook and they didn't respond. That's just a contact attempt that I made. It's not a conversation. Now, once they go into my database in command, I have a separate agent touch program. It's not quite 36, although it's pretty close. It's 24, 25, 29, 31 touches. What I do is every single month they get an agent newsletter. A lot of you have seen that already, and you'll see it again tomorrow if you come to group coaching. They also get a monthly item of value. If you follow me on social media, that is your Really Richmond Realtor postcards. I've been in Richmond my entire life. And so I lean heavy into that for referrals. I can read this city. I've only lived here. Rely on us because I can drive these streets without using a GPS. It's kind of a joke, but it's also true. I wish them a happy birthday on their birthday. They get quarterly calls most often. And then I see them at events, family reunion and mega camp. So they're getting multiple touches to where I remind them who I am. And I'm also giving value. This monthly newsletter has nothing hardly about me. It's something that I did. Maybe I'm sharing a training that I was just in, or I'm sharing something that I think would be of value. I might share what our 36 touch looks like. I might share feedback on how a client event went. The most recent one that we did in October was I actually asked the agents for feedback because I told them, hey, I'm taking over as a productivity coach in our market center. What's one thing you learned from when you were in coaching at KW that you think my folks should know? And I sent it out. I have about 74, 75 agents in my database, and 61 of them replied, which is ridiculous because I usually get about 10 to 20% reply rate on the normal newsletter. And I got 80% on this one. So if you ask the right questions, you will get engagement. Now, Amanda Seabadan, who I mentioned before, she replies every single month to my newsletter, regardless of what it is. So that is why she's my top agent referral in Florida. Even if she doesn't cover the area in Florida, she's still the first person I call. One of the referrals that I had for Florida this year, it was in a different part of Florida. I called Amanda. I said, hey, who do you know? They're in this area. She said, oh, actually, my maps coach covers that area. Here's who you should call. His name is Chase. I called Chase. He sold the listing. I made $4,000. So in 2 phone calls, I made $4,000. It's one of my good friends from Aegis from Jiu-Jitsu that sold his Florida property. Chase did such a good job. He has not only sent me a referral, or I also sent him a referral this past week as well. Now I met Chase through Amanda. So Amanda's getting rewarded for connecting me to Chase, and Chase is getting rewarded for referrals in the Tampa kind of market. So there's a lot of ways that these things can scale upon each other. Now, agent referrals should be a part of your network regardless. I would not make it a key lead pillar yet until you go to family reunion or mega camp. Now, the reason why is because when you are there, you're going to be with thousands of Keller Williams agents that you're going to have conversations with and you're going to exchange info on. And that is the best way to get started. Now, the longer you're in real estate and the longer you're in Keller Williams, you're going to start to build a niche or a type of client that you specialize in or a type of area you specialize in. And that is the easiest way to go after getting referrals. Beth Pretty in our office is another one that gets a lot of agent referrals. Part of why she gets a lot of agent referrals is because she's the number one team in our office. So people call their team because she's number one and they want to use the number one person. However, there can only be one number one. So you can't get agent referrals for being number one if you're not number one. And so we have to find a different reason to connect them to refer us. Now, one of the ways you can do it, and this is something I recommend with caution, is you can pay a little bit more than the average referral fee. The average referral fee in Keller Williams is 20 to 25%. We pay 30%. You could pay 35%. That extra 5% is going to incentivize somebody to use you instead of the other person. Now, you also have to follow it up with good service and get that referral closed. If I say I'm paying 35% and I don't close the referral, I'm not getting any more referrals from that agent referral or that agent partner. So there's a lot of stuff to this process. We're highlighting things today, and we'll dive deeper either in one-on-one coaching or group coaching. All right, thoughts, comments, questions, concerns on agent referrals. I want to leave enough time to talk about what's to come with group coaching and stuff like that moving forward.
The agent referral net thing and connecting it with LinkedIn was a great message. Would you also tie that along with the agent referral network map that we have in Command as well too?
Yeah, I do both. And part of why I do both is because when you do it in the referrals tab in Command, you have to then physically send them an email. I did not get nearly the response rate there that I do from LinkedIn. Now, the good news is you can do both at the same time. The other thing is once I get a message back on LinkedIn and I connect with them, I'll then go add them on the referrals tab on Command and add them to my database. So they're kind of getting all three touches. Because you do get a request. If somebody adds you as an agent referral in the referrals tab in Command, you get a little request from them. And it like dings your Command notifications and says, so-and-so is requesting to be a part of your referral network. And you should always say yes if you get any of those. And then you should send them a direct message. So do both. You can also do it on Facebook. There's a lot of different good real estate groups that are Keller Williams specific on Facebook. Pivot is one of my favorites. I don't know if that's the full name. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, it's called Pivot Shift Ahead. It's taught by or led by a guy named James Shaw, who's a Keller Williams master faculty person. This is what the group looks like. They do calls every day at 8 a.m. and every Monday they're talking about a piece from the MREA. There are 127,000 or 120.7 thousand members in here. So if you're not a part of this group already, you should be.
I'm right there.
Yep. I was gonna say Eric's up top. Yep. And then Courtney's in here. This is an agent referral partner of mine. Michelle's in our office. He's a former MAPS coach. He shouldn't be in here anymore because he's not a part of KW anymore. She used to be with us. She shouldn't be in here. A lot of these folks are agent referral partners of mine. And then as they're not connected to me, they're going to be on the other side. Now you can come to the members tab and start looking for folks that are in here. Members with things in common, friends of yours. So I have 50 friends that are in this group, meaning they're connected with me on Facebook. Members near you, new to the group. Now, what I recommend if you're going to act in part of these groups is you want to be a top contributor, meaning anytime you see somebody post something like this, if you have something you can provide, you want to, even if you just agree with somebody's point. So like, I'll use this as an example, even though I haven't read this yet. How do you know you've won the day? Patrice said, make a list of top 3 things each day. If you get those done, you'll win the morning. Make a second list. If you complete those, you win the day. Even if you don't have something else to add, you can just come on here and click reply to Patrice and say, oh my gosh, so good. Or I agree. That's beautifully said. You want to contribute often. The more you contribute, so like Meg today comments all the time. And so not only should she have the top contributor badge, I reached out to Meg because I was like, hey, I noticed you're really often commenting and contributing in the pivot page. I appreciate most of your insights. And then I give her my spiel. I'd like to connect with you. I'm here, blah, 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 blah. And you can start building those things up. So if you're not a part of this group already, send me a text or a message. I'll get you added. There's a bunch of those though. And we can handle that from there. If you also just search Keller Williams on Facebook, you'll find more of them. Those are all important. Why is this not working? There we go. So we're almost done. Tomorrow in group coaching, hopefully you all that are on here can be there tomorrow. And if not, it's okay. I need you to bring two things. I need you to bring a charged laptop or a tablet if you use a tablet. And I need you to bring 5 people that you can add to command that are not in there already. Now, if you can't get to 5, it's okay. Bring at least 1. Tomorrow, we are going to do a command workshop. I'm going to take you through a day in the life with Austin on what he does in command. We're also going to have some opportunity for Q&A. Some of the feedback I've gotten is that Rachel, albeit is awesome at command, she goes from A to Z sometimes and skips over about 15 of the 26 letters. And so we're going to take it really granularly, take a big step back and say, okay, here's how we add somebody. Here's how we tag somebody. Here's what that tag means in our world as far as how we're going to communicate them. Here's how we look up people that are tagged that way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have an entire plan around command tomorrow. And so I want you to bring people that you can add in so you guys can be doing it at the same time. It's not going to be me just sitting at the front of the room doing it. Now, I'm going to send a message out later today reminding all of PC agents this. It will probably not be recorded simply due to the nature of the way the class is going to go. If you're doing things hands-on and I'm doing things hands-on, it's going to be pretty hard to record that. So it may not be recorded. So if you can be there, please come. It will start at 9. We'll end at 10:30. We'll have a break until the team meeting. The team meeting is also going to be really good tomorrow. We got some good stuff planned. So I wanted to kind of share that with you. In future times, it will be it will be recorded, excuse me. And we're going to go into buyer presentation and listing presentation in a couple weeks. We will not have group coaching next week on the 5th. The office is closed for the election. And so we will pick back up the following week on the 12th with creating our buyer presentation. The group coaching sessions are going to be a little bit more workshop based and a little bit less teaching based. Now, I will obviously be teaching where applicable. However, I want you guys to start getting into the habit of doing. Some of the feedback we've gotten, and I agree with this, is that we've gotten a little bit too classroom minded and not enough what am I supposed to actually be doing to sell homes. And so we're going to do some of that together. We'll do more role play. We'll do more actual lead gen calls.
we
I'll
can.
be in the
Where
room
can
helping
we
you.
put? Where can we put feedback? Just text it to you or email it to you or something?
Either one. Yeah, either one. This was from group coaching calls and from people that are in bold that have just kind of grabbed me or people that I've talked to along the way. But yeah, if you have feedback, please send it to me. Whether it's
Oh yeah, I
text or
got you.
call or text or email. That's super helpful. I am determined, like most of you have heard, to make this the best PC group we can. So, all right. Any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns before I let you go?
Can you add me to the Pivot Shift Ahead group? I don't think I'm in that one.
Yep, I'll do it right now.
Please and thank you.
Anybody else that's on the call that's not in there that wants to get added?
Me.
Was that a Lynn Ann?
Yes, it's Lynn Ann. And
It says you're already a member, Rhonda.
I-
You, Austin. Thank.
Okay. All right. Let me check into that because I don't go into that group at all.
Okay.
when
see
will
if you
the
can access it.
recording on this be
Okay.
posted?
This afternoon.
Okay, because I had to jump in and out because of something that's happening.
Yeah. And then I heard one other.
Yeah, it's Austin. It's me, Samia. I just want.
Okay, Samantha. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Did I just get rid of, or did I think I just kicked Lynn Ann out. Oh, no, there you are. Lynn Ann, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. I was clicking back onto Zoom and your name went away on the side. So I was worried I did something.
Oh, no,
All right.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, cool. And while we're here too, if you guys haven't done it already, make sure you add me as a friend on Facebook and preferably follow me on Instagram too. I have no problem whatsoever if you guys I call it R&D. It does not stand for research and develop. It stands for rip and duplicate, which means you should be following the top agents that you admire and be mirroring what they do. You'll get ideas from them. Obviously, make it your own. However, we have to be friends on here for me to add you to the pivot group, so that's part of it. And then also, I want you to see. I've had the same social media content calendar for 2 years now, and so it's pretty regularly done. And so, those of you that have been in bold, or even if you're not in bold, it will give you content ideas because you're going to see it over and over and over and over and over again. Same thing with my videos; they go on social media. So if you don't want to watch the YouTube channel and watch those, you can see I do some that don't go on YouTube that are just social media based. And we're going to eventually get to the point where we have some other communication stuff on there. Obviously, not everybody's on Facebook, so that's okay. Just those of you that are, add me on there. And I'll do the same on my end too. But all right, anything else?
Just thank you.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much, Austin.
You're
This was
welcome.
great.
I will.
Yeah,
Especially
thank
on
you,
the agent
Austin.
referral, that was great, Austin.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that. These will continue to be topic based on Mondays. So again, if you missed any of it, go back and watch them. I usually title them whatever the topic was on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, that does a lot for me on my end. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I think I have 10. Again, brand new channel, so that's okay. And then if you have any topics that you feel like aren't being covered or you want to hear more of, just shoot me a text or an email and we'll get that on the schedule, whether it's a workshop in group coaching, which is why Command's happening tomorrow, or something for lead gen. Let me know. Cool. All right. Thank you guys. I will see most of you tomorrow, hopefully, and reach out if you need anything, and I'll talk to the rest of you later this week.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.